All right.
And we are live. So, guys, today I wanted to do a DIY on how I end up getting involved in these Stolen Valor investigations. And one of my subs sent me some information on a dude, and he's actually got a Vimeo video out there. And I wanted to get Josh on here, Stone Vet, Stone Vag, Stone Veggie, whatever the fuck they call him this week.
Yeah.
I wanted to get him in here, and I want to get his impression of this video, and then I will provide some additional information that I've already dug into, and I have already got a Freedom of Information Act request that's been fired off to NPRC, so I can get this guy's records and we can see exactly what's true and what's bullshit. I already have a pretty good inkling that a lot of it's bullshit, and we got a pretty good bunch of people in here. Let's see. Let's go to the top. Should I do a roll call? Should I do a Kaiser roll call?
Yeah, for 35 minutes.
Purple Butterfly, Just Jenny, High Priestess,
Nice.
Stanley Hayes, Scott Amo, The Unforgiven,
Jerry.
Scotto's in there, Fraudita Ram's in there, Jeff Sanders. Got quite a few people in there. Well, we got 40 fucking 3 people watching on a Saturday afternoon.
Hell yeah. Nice. Fat dork.
Comfortably numb. Rick Middleton. He's one of my longtime guys.
According to Aza.
Man, lots of people in there. La. Woohoo, I made it live. Made the live. Yeah, you did. Aza's in there. All right. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to play this video, and then we can all watch Josh's head explode. And I'm going to stop it at some key points and tell you guys to take some notes, because math is never their strong point. And just keep that in the back of your mind. So let's go ahead and watch this video. Look at this fucking Oompa Loompa.
Senior. Whoa. Look at the way he walks.
Wasn't exactly the greatest of childhoods. My parents got divorced young. A lot of custody changes between mom, dad, grandparents, and even an aunt and uncle. 9 custody changes between the 4 families. Between kindergarten and graduating high school, I attended 23 different schools. Stability was not something I understood. For me, joining the military, 1, it was the service to the country, which is something I've always wanted to do. For 2, it allowed me to have something stable without having something stable. It was a stable career, but it still allowed me to move around and see different things and experience different things, because I think it's something that...
Okay, I'm just going to stop it real quick here. So far, yeah, okay, I get it. Super impressed with the Purple Hearts, the Bronze Stars, the Silver Star. I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. There was a little thing there that kind of caught my eye, but we'll let it go for a few more seconds, because I know Josh is going to lose his shit here in a minute.
Well, I was going to say,
at that point in my life,
if you don't mind stopping just for a sec, all of this sounds like you're saying it wouldn't. The Silver Star, 2 Bronze Stars, 2 Purple Heart. Like if 1 Bronze Star, 1 Purple Heart, Silver Star. Like this is, I hate to give these guys, make them better at what they're doing, but it's when you're doubling up on that kind of shit, like that immediately is like, whoa. And then to make it your whole thing. Right. And then, but everything else he's saying doesn't sound, it sounds fine.
Wait.
Oh no, yeah.
Wait.
I mean it for the audience too. Like, because, a lot of it's for them and seeing like, hey, this is the kind of shit that Wrangler, all of this sounds exactly like Wrangler, right? Without the tours, specifically without 2 Purple Hearts, 3 tours. He's got the combat medic badge on, all of it, but it's a medic.
So you noticed the badge. You already noticed the badge. Did you notice that he's wearing the combat medic badge and the expert medic badge.
Is that what the other one was? I couldn't
Yeah,
quite.
it was an expert medic badge. You don't fucking wear both of those at the same time.
No. And then
And
no
there's
name
another
tapes.
there's another fucking mess with that uniform too. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to get to this first part when you lose your shit.
Was craving, and so it became something that drew me, and I excelled at it, and it became my driving force in life. My recruiting process was a little interesting as well. I was originally planning on going into the Marine Corps, and in Ohio they'll set up in the high school cafeterias during lunchtime. I just went over and talked to the Army recruiter just to get a little more information. And the Marine recruiter saw me there, and he got a little upset, and ended up being a physical altercation between he and
What? Come the fuck on. Oh, I was not ready for that one. I was waiting for something else, but then he's like, I fought the recruiter.
A physical altercation in the cafeteria by a Marine Corps recruiter.
And Marine recruiters are all sergeants and staff sergeants, right? Generally. And so that means at least a fucking NCO is fighting a high school kid. I mean, in some ways, I could kind of believe it. Like if this fat fuck came up and you're like, I was thinking about being the Marines. I was like, well, thinking about being the Marines is different than being a Marine. And then if he said something, I could like, all right, fucking potato boy, here we go. But
when I heard that, I said, Josh's head's going to fucking blow up. I just don't see a Marine Corps NCO getting in fisticuffs with some dork high school kid in the cafeteria.
Fuck.
Just because he went over and talked to the Army recruiter.
Right. Like they have the whole table set up.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So the two badges, no fucking name tapes.
So look at that right sleeve, brother. What do you see there?
God,
I know it's kind of hard to see.
Airborne. Is it Ranger or Sapper?
Well, I don't know what the third one is, but the second one's Ranger. How many people have you ever seen wear a Ranger school tab on the right side?
On the right, exactly. That's
fucking
the other.
Never.
I was like, what's this triple canopy shit he's got going? Yeah. This dude's a fucking soup sandwich.
So yeah, and we'll get into the rest of it, but that's what my eyes got drawn to. That immediately was the two medical badges. You don't wear the expert badge with a combat badge. That would be like wearing your expert infantry badge and your combat infantry badge above it.
Yeah.
People would the grunts would beat you with a fucking stick for doing that.
I mean, they would rip it off you probably. They'd say,
Throat punch Thursday. There's my boy.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that recruiter had something, had a premonition like, oh, this dude's going to be trouble. I'm gonna kick his ass now.
Maybe he tuned him up ahead of time. Yeah. All right, let's continue on because it only gets better.
God.
And I obviously that made my choice for me that I was going Army.
Because he whipped your ass.
6 days after graduating high school in '95, I went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia.
All right, key point. 6 days after graduating high school in 1995. June, right? Usually that's when they graduate. So sometime in June, he's off to Fort Benning for basic training, 1995. Write that down, guys. Take notes. Because I want to hear everybody's take on this. We got Friday Wrangler in there. He was a Ranger at one time too.
Yeah. Hey, Wrangler, tell us what it's like to be a Ranger.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's got it tattooed on his chest.
Oh, those guys who get the tats. I salute their commitment to the fraud. But holy fuck, how dumb are you? But I get it. They're like, well, why would I get it tattooed if I wasn't it? Watching these guys, and when they say that kind of shit, you're like, it doesn't mean anything.
I got a long sleeve shirt on, but I got my 82nd patch over here on the right course, then
Oh,
I got
yeah.
my airborne wings and my air assault wings and all that shit, and my paratrooper, but been there, done that. Fucking got the broken bones from it.
Right, exactly. And it's not like, to be clear to everybody, if you see somebody, well, he's got a military tattoo. The tattoo artist does not require a DD 214. They just
No,
require an image, and
they
they'll
they
fucking
just require money,
yeah. That's what. Yeah, exactly. They just require money. Just throw it on.
lots of it usually. All
Yeah,
right, so
unfortunately.
let's continue on because
Let's do this.
it piles up as we go.
This
From
guy's
there,
great
I
already.
went to AIT, or Advanced Individual Training, to learn my specific job, which at that time was a combat medic. So I went to 15-week core schooling at Fort Sam Houston, Texas. From there, I went to my first duty station.
Before he goes to the first duty station, so you got your BCT basic training. You went to Fort Benning, did his BCT. I don't even know how long BCT is anymore. What's it? 8 weeks? It's like 2 months, and then basically his time at Fort Sam becoming a medic. So you're looking at the first 6 months of your military career is basic and your advanced individual training. So now we're 6 months into it, depending on when he showed up at Benning.
Yeah. So like June,
which was Fort Hood. I spent 4.5 years there before
And then he
I
went to Fort
put in
Hood
my
and spent
paperwork
4.5 years. So
for my
figure
reenlistment.
out the math on that.
so 2000.
Yeah,
right?
he's into early 2000, sometime
Yeah.
around in there.
And Rick Middleton says BCT was 8 weeks, 4 weeks AIT. The combat medic one is longer. I know it's a longer course, but Tats would know. Tats is a combat medic. Okay, so we're at 2000. He's at Hood. 4 years, 4.5 years at Hood. So he's done 5 years, basically. He's saying his enlistment was.
My niece is saying it was 9 weeks for her in 2010.
And Stanley, 10 weeks. All right, well, let's give him 10 weeks plus 15 weeks at 25 weeks, so 6 months. Let's give him 6 months, and then he's 4.5 at Hood. So we're at 2000, 5-year first enlistment, I guess he's saying.
Gia, thank you so much. You really didn't have to do that. I'm not doing this for the super chats and stuff, but thank you so much. And I know exactly who I'm going to take to breakfast. Thank you. All right. Let's continue on with Oompa Loompa here.
Oh, this guy's great.
And as part of my reenlistment, I requested Airborne, Ranger, and hopefully, if I pass those, I want to go on to Special Forces and change to 18 Delta Special Forces Medic.
Ding, 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 ding. He's going to go Airborne. He's going to go Ranger. Then he wants to go 18 Delta. In steps Steve Anston over at Guardians of the Green Beret. This Oompa Loompa is already on his radar.
Nice.
So I don't want to take anything away from him. And even though Steve's already done the dive on this guy, I still do my own background and I still do my own records requests and all of that. I don't piggyback off of somebody else. And Steve's going to have something coming out on this guy really soon. So you got Airborne School, 3 weeks. You got Ranger School. I don't remember how long Ranger School is. I never went.
I never did either.
I think it's like 30 days, and they got different phases. I know it's a bitch, and you don't sleep much, and you don't get much to eat, and they beat the piss out of you. But and there's 2 different types of Rangers too. A lot of people don't know that. You've got your tabbed Rangers, and you've got your scrolled Rangers. A lot of controversy over that, and the Ranger guys will, because you got guys that'll go to Ranger School and never serve in Ranger Battalion. You've got guys in Ranger Battalion that have been in Ranger Battalion and they spend a lot of years in Ranger Battalion, deployed and all that, never been to Ranger School. So, it's kind of interesting the way that all works. I might have to do a video on that one day because I had quite a few friends that I knew from Ranger Battalion when I was stationed at Hunter Army Airfield. Of course, you've got a Ranger Battalion station there.
I don't know. It's really funny because I have had almost no interactions. Like, I mean, not interactions, like, but like worked with or really been around Rangers, SF dudes all day, but you know, long tab guys all day, and people, conventional military guys who were Ranger schooled. But it's funny, I never, because we had my chance to really work with them would have been in Afghanistan, because we have a person with, you know, doing targeting for them, with them, whatever, with each of the JSOC elements. And but I was working with the white, what they call white soft then. So yeah, it's really interesting because I don't know shit about them other than I did 75th Ranger Battalion. I don't know much about the Army, actually. Even though I spent a lot of time in it. I mean, it was reserves, but I was activated for a lot of it. And then school, language school. And then I was Army civilian. I was just around soft dudes. And then I had to go to a TRADOC school for, I think it was reserves. And I was wearing, this is back when you couldn't wear black socks. I showed up for PT. I had an old Army PT shirt on, no reflector belt, and black ankle socks. And one of the other staff sergeants pulled me over and he's like, "Hey man, you can't wear black ankle socks." I'm like, "Since when?" It's like, "Since forever, dude." I mean, they did change it a few years, actually probably a while ago now, but back then you couldn't. I was a shit show.
And James K, thanks for the $2, man. I appreciate it. And never met a Stolen Valor cook with only an NDSM, National Defense Service Medal. You're right, you haven't. And of course, she cranked me up there for breakfast. Man, we're gonna have one hell of a breakfast for that.
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh, we're talking steak tips and eggs there.
Man, that's my favorite.
Let's get back to the video.
To get through the qualifying school and everything is about 18 months. And then it's another 12 to 14 months for the medical side of it. It's the best of the best.
Okay. 18 months for qualification. Well, first off, you have to go to selection.
6 weeks.
Yeah. You got to do the selection. I don't know how long that is, but they do it at Camp McCall.
It's 6 weeks.
Fort Bragg. Say again?
It's 6 weeks. Or it was, I mean, yeah, as of, I don't know, 5 years ago. So
yeah, that's 6 weeks of getting your dick beat in.
Yep.
And that's just so they can see if they even want to select you to attempt the Q course. And the Q course runs in phases. Usually, I think that last phase is your specialty phase, and that could be anywhere from, 6 to 8 months to a year. The medic course is the longest one, and I think it runs about 52 weeks. So right there, he's saying like 18 months for selection. He does not know anything about anything to do with special forces. I just wanted to bring that up.
These dates are, he has seen, this is somebody who has done a little bit of research and somewhere saw how long is special forces is the SFQC Q course. And he saw that 18 months, probably a window, 18 months to, whatever. The longest again being the 18 Delta course, which you come out, those guys are essentially physician's assistants. They're PAs, they're trauma nurses. My cousin did it, but he did it through the Navy as a corpsman. And they he got a commission. He was like a trauma nurse. That's how he got to pull that that's how he got in the position where he's pulling that live RPG out of that Marine's leg and helmet. It's a fucking crazy ass thing that happened. But yeah, 18 months for Q course is probably about if you're going to be an 18 Bravo, which is the weapons specialist. And it's not because it's the easiest. It's just it's just shorter courses. It's all shooting and weapons, small arms and stuff. Yeah, these dates are all fucked up. It doesn't take you 4 years to become a Green Beret. It takes a long time. It doesn't take 4 years or whatever this
No.
guy's trying to say.
No.
This is awful. I mean, from Giddy Up, I'm like, this dude's like, there's some splaining to do. Like a difference between him, I don't cut me off here if you need to, but the difference between him and like a Blind Justice. Blind Justice didn't talk specifics. And he liked playing these games because he knew what he was. And he liked playing these games. He never talked specifics like this guy. That's what my first instinct with him, well, everybody's instinct with him is this dude's full of shit because he doesn't talk anything. The difference is this dude talks details, a ton of details, and none of it makes any fucking sense.
Gee, who else does that?
Yeah. Starts with an M, ends with an Eichel Kaiser. I mean, it's
also
insanity.
known as FW, also known as fuckwad.
Fuckwad. I was listening to a little teaser, as it were. I was watching this thing on KFAR. Woo! KFAR's KFAR likes to KFAR sounds like a bacon to me. There's a lot of little things. I won't spoil it. He's not fake. He's for real. He was a sailor, showed his DD-214, and his DD-214 said he was a boatswain's mate. And he says a lot of other things. It's really interesting. But I was that's the fake KFAR, unfortunately. But I wanted to also show, because I wanted to kind of do this. This was actually, I was thinking about this before we were doing this, and it's perfect. Because then I'm going to segue into, hey, this is somebody real, KFAR, he's real. But here's where what he's saying is bullshit. And so it gives you that to show there's a lot of middle ground, and you got to be careful. And I wasn't careful at first, but you got to be careful when you're doing. That's what makes it difficult to wade these rapids a bit when you get involved with this shit. I mean, and because if you get out too far, like I did, if you get out too far ahead of official documents, it can hurt the credibility of the and a lot of people go from anywhere from exaggerating, like there I was, no shit, and I fucking killed 2 jihadis instead of fucking 1. There's those are bar stories. Nobody cares about those. And we all know when those are kind of, nobody cares about fishtails. It's when it's like, I did 3 tours and I have 2 Purple Hearts, where you're like, all right, there's that guy. But then there's also the bacon, where it was like, I was a drug suppression team super soldier MP extraordinaire, like there's levels of all these guys. That's why I'm glad we're doing this, because this guy's fake as fuck.
Well, here's the difference now. All right.
Okay.
I can verify that he was in the military.
Oh, interesting.
I can verify that. And we'll get to that. So,
okay.
So far, there's a lot of key things that are making my head spin.
Yeah.
And your head started spinning over some of the same shit.
Yeah.
So, well, let's go. I'm not going to watch his whole video because he'll get to a certain point and then it's fucking, oh, woe is me.
Yeah.
But we'll get there momentarily.
I actually was on the parade field, ready to graduate 18 Delta School on September 11th, 2001.
Okay.
He was on the parade field on September 11th, getting ready to graduate. But wait, I'm going to go a little bit farther.
God, this is
needless to say, graduation got canceled.
Graduation got canceled.
Needless to say.
Needless to say, graduation. So does that mean that null and voided your 3 years worth of preparation to become an 18 Delta?
Also,
because that's basically what he said. He said 18 months for selection and then another 12 to 14 months for the medic course.
Yeah.
And you put it all together and you're almost at 3 years. Really? So how did he fit all of that in that time frame that we've been looking at?
And yeah, I mean, none of it fits. These guys hate timelines. This is why I always try and stress time. like a good little intel guy, man. I like timelines because it starts nailing down. And then it's like, okay, because it's like when you say where, you know, location, yeah, but times are that shit can be squishy sometimes. But 2001, 9/11, I was here, you know, and you're like, oh, okay. Now you can bounce off of that. I mean, that time frame doesn't even work. Now, here's the thing, to play devil's advocate, you could say, first of all, what Green Beret talks about, it's Robin Sage. You graduate with Robin Sage. Yes, you do graduate your portion of your MOS school, whatever, right? But it's Robin Sage. And so, fuck, I lost what I was gonna say. They don't talk, they don't talk like that. Shit. I'm sorry, but this doesn't help when I'm doing this. But he doesn't talk it. And is he about to say like therefore he didn't become special forces, or is he saying he is? Also, they're not going to take. Why would they cancel? I mean, they could cancel graduation, but anyway, I don't want to get too far ahead. But
yeah, and that's it. This is where you never hear about the special forces thing as we go along. But we'll wait and get. So,
I forgot.
I got a bunch of shit to show after this. So
okay, just real quick. I do remember what I was going to say. I'm really sorry, and I'm putting that thing down. I'm too spacey for that. He, in his defense, I'm just saying this is a weasel. You got to figure out too where they can weasel their way out of, right? Because then he could, if you came to him, he could say, "Well, I never said I graduated Robin Sage. I said I graduated the MOS phase." But they don't talk about it. That they don't talk. They also don't talk about their phases that way. But like, I haven't heard them talk about their phases that way, I should say. I mean, as I find out with Justice, that blind Justice dude, man, people can be wacky, and SF dudes can be wacky. You know, so I will say my experience is that does not. There's like dog whistles fucking going off, and it's about how wrong he's saying shit. It's the same way where it took 30 seconds to listen to Kaiser and be like bullshit. So anyway, okay, sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to, I felt bad for being so stony.
And we got really lucky with his shit because it was so easy to get his records. Yeah. All right, we're going to continue with the video.
Tours in Iraq and one in Afghanistan. Usually when I got home, I was trying to find the next airplane back because I'd love doing my job. My job's, you know, being over there. When we were deployed, I was really the only medical asset in some cases within 50 to 100 miles. Most infantrymen or special forces, anyone front lines, when they get hurt, you know, medics are doc to them. That's kind of our name. And, you know, to me, there was no better thing than to hear somebody holler, "Doc,
fat dork,"
because I knew that they needed me, and I was the one that needed to bring them home to their family.
He was going to bring them home to their family.
Oh my God! Oh,
yeah. Calm down. We still got a little bit to
go. 2 Purple Hearts.
3 tours.
4 Army Commendation Medals. 8 Army Achievement Medals. I have also received a Silver Star and 2 Bronze Stars. All 3 with Valor.
Whoa.
Silver Star and 2 Bronze Stars.
Whoa.
Dude, it's fucking implied with a Silver Star for Valor because that's the only reason they give it.
Yeah. Also, to say that is, I mean, it's admitting what he's doing. He's stealing Valor. And this is, and to let people know again, and this was kind of happening a bit with Wrangler, is, well, you said he never served and he served. It's like, no, said he was stolen valor. You can have been in. And by the way, he didn't even graduate basic training twice. He failed basic training twice, discharged, parentheses, weakness. But like, this motherfucker, anyway, I'm getting.
All right, we're going to continue on.
Go. Yeah.
He lost me with the 2 Purple Hearts, 4 ARCOMs, 8 achievement medals.
I mean,
he was sucking somebody's dick somewhere.
I mean, you know, I feel like there's a supply chief with 4 ARCOMs. I'm sure, you know, like some kind of deal. 8.
Yeah, 8 achievement medals, cheesy medals. All right, here we go. But yeah, stay away from aphies. That's Ron Douglas said that. Stay away from aphies. It's a good way to get throat punched. All right, let's continue.
My second Purple Heart, which also led to my Silver Star, is probably the most significant to me because it was life altering in so many ways, both as a soldier and as a person. I was part of the unit that was the first boots on the ground in Afghanistan after 9/11.
So the first boots on the ground, 9/11, that was 5th Special Forces Group.
But by the way, do you know who else claims this exact thing? Kaiser. He literally claims to have been in the Battle of Tora Bora. That's what all this was. That's who the first CIA, JSOC elements, and 5th Group guys. And
there is
Kaiser claims the same shit. That's hilarious.
But you're going to find, Josh, as you go through all of this, there are a lot of similarities with every one of these stolen valor cases, whether they never served a day in the military ever, or they had a completely honorable career and then they shit all over it by doing this stupid stuff.
Yeah. Oh, but a lot of times these guys, they can come in. It's almost never has it been. I mean, there's been senior dudes who spent a lot of time who've claimed an award that, but they don't tend to make up this whole event. It's almost all, to me, my experience is, it's almost dudes who like got kicked out of basic training twice, or did a year and some change, or some, again, Kaiser, but did a couple of years, or did 4 years and it just happened to be peacetime and a weird time or something like that. And then they felt like I didn't do as much. And then they just start piling this shit on.
They pile it. This guy's piling it. All right, we're going to continue.
Flew out 4 days later. We were up in the mountains trying to find Taliban and Al-Qaeda. And I was shot in the stomach. But I came back for 9 weeks and then flew back and was on the first plane they put me on. From there, I went and did almost 3 back-to-back tours in Iraq until my final tour ended on May 29th of 2007, and I was severely wounded.
So he added a deployment. He added a third Iraq deployment.
He said he had 3 Iraq tours and 1 Afghanistan tour. He did say that back correct. Trust me, bro. I took notes. I watched his video twice while I was taking notes.
Oh my God.
But listen very carefully to this. I'm going to stop it at a certain point because you're going to go, huh?
We were involved in a mission. We had taken some small arms fire. One of our guys got hit in his shoulder. Called out for Doc. I came running over, was kneeling next to him, treating him when we had 4 vehicles pull up. And they were daisy chained as IEDs, improvised explosive devices, car bombs. And
they were daisy chained. The cars were daisy chained together.
You know, I heard that and I was like, first off, all right, you guys are in a small arms fight. One of your guys goes down, you go running to them, and they're going to let 4 cars drive into your setup with nobody like
doing anything,
blasting the piss out of them before they got there. And then exactly how do you daisy chain?
Right. I mean, he doesn't get what daisy chain. I mean, I guess maybe sort of, but how would you daisy chain V beds? You wouldn't. I mean, I've been in incidents where there was multiple V beds thrown. Like, in fact, I've had Hippie was on the same deployment with me, but I've had the guys on. They don't daisy chain vehicles. What they will do is they'll handcuff a dude to a steering wheel and force him to drive it, to drive the vehicle, but they won't daisy. I mean, none of this makes any motherfucking sense.
No.
Also, they don't lead. Those dudes don't lead with small arms fire and then go V-bed. They go V-bed, small arms fire, boom, boom, boom. Like their TTPs were the same.
They want to put you on your heels before they come in with the small arms fire.
Because even if they miss you with the fucking IED, they got you fucking knocked. They got you
They
looped.
get you back on your heels, and you're
Yeah.
trying to recover, and then they come in. But
And there was
who the fuck is going to let 4 vehicles just come driving in?
There's a lot. I mean, also, have you ever? And again, this is where I found myself. I have to be careful. Is I ran on the assumption that all vets taught and thought like me, basically, because I was around people like me for so long, sort of hermetically sealed a little bit. But like a dude talking about an incident like this, I've never heard a guy talk about. I mean, I've heard it everything from fucking nonchalant, like we were mowing motherfuckers down, like I'm sawing dudes in half. These fucking V beds come. I'm like fucking Hodge, you know, to almost like giving a brief, like this happened and then this happened, boom, you know, probably because they had written the report or whatever. But like nobody talks about it like this.
I'm curious as to how he did this video.
I am too.
I don't know if this was a self-production or if somebody, I don't know how this all got put together, but this fucking clown, well, I'm not going to go there yet. I'm going to wait. Keep my mouth shut till we get through the video.
And when they detonated, the force of the blast lifted me up off the ground and threw me headfirst into the side of a Bradley fighting vehicle, hitting the top of my helmet and basically compressing my spine like an accordion, and I broke my back in 3 places. There, including myself, there were 37 wounded from that day.
Michael Kaiser.
Medical asset on the scene.
What?
And I literally crawled from person to person.
Oh my fucking God.
So there were 37 guys wounded. I don't know if this was like an entire platoon mission, because I didn't have 37 guys in my platoon. I had 32.
And the Bradley showed up. Isn't he an SF medic? Isn't he?
Yeah, he's an SF medic, but I don't get all of this.
Dude, none of this makes sense.
He crawled from person to person.
Yeah. You know, I heard about this story. There was an RPG that stopped the lead vehicle dead in its tracks.
Yeah. They were going 70 miles an hour.
They were going 70 miles an hour, motherfuckers. 37 people wounded. He gets blasted. I mean, if he gets blasted hard enough where, I mean, also it made me laugh thinking of him flying sideways through the air, you know, like kind of launched into a Bradley fighting vehicle that somehow made it up. Why wasn't that Bradley fucking those cars up? Like,
yes, my point exactly. Those 4 cars never should have got within their area.
I mean, especially if you got a dude. So according to him, they're in a gunfight. A dude is wounded. He's over there helping. The Bradleys are just hanging the fuck out. Like, hey, let's watch the fucking Green Berets fight these guys. Like, none of this makes a fucking lick of sense. All of a sudden, the IEDs. The IED that blasted him into the vehicle has now wounded 37 people, but you're still alive. And then you crawl over with a broken back. It's amazing the similarities. Amazing the fucking similarities between him and Kaiser.
Stanley Hayes just said, that's Medal of Honor worthy.
I know, right?
Stanley, keep that in the back of your mind for a little bit later in this slide, okay? Just hang on to that thought, and you may be surprised. Anyway, yeah. And then he's going to talk about his injury.
To give aid and prepare them all for medevac before being medevaced myself. And all 37 of us made it home. 11 amputees out of that, but we all made it home, and that was the most important thing.
Holy fuck.
So,
I mean, that's
11 amputees, 30, and he was crawling around with a broken back. And then he's going to talk about his injuries, and then I'm going to chop it off there because the rest of it's all fucking boo-hoo me. Yeah. But let's listen until I chop it off. Then I'm going to bring up some other stuff.
Cool.
I suffered a fractured spine in 3 places. I've had to have 2 back surgeries. I have my spine fused. I have 2 9-inch rods, 12 plates, and 48 screws that hold my spine together now. Because of the spinal injury and the nerve damage and everything involved with that, I also have some stomach issues from
Some stomach issues. I have some.
Notice the shit sandwich here with the dual first calf patches.
Well, here's the thing. I think this is actually like a stock photo.
It might be. I couldn't tell if it was him or not. It's hard to tell.
I think what this is, it's probably a put together thing he made as a submission to, like, you know, buying houses for wounded warriors kind of thing, or, you know, where they can get these. He's getting benefits. I mean, he does it probably for an application to one of these. Hey, this is who I am. This feels like it's stock photo, but this is bananas ass shit. I mean,
remember though, he crawled to every one of those 37 guys,
prepped them for evac.
Required 2 rods and 48 screws.
Oh my God. Prepped them all for evac. You know how long that would take?
But then again, Kaiser was rucking it for what, 3 weeks with 2 different fractures in his leg.
According to him, a complete break diagonally, 1/2 inch below his knee, and then a 6-inch, 1/4 inch, 6 inch in length, 1/4 inch wide, linear fracture down on the same tibia. And he claims to have fucking patrolled in full battle rattle. Stupid. I hate when people say that shit. In full fucking gear for 3 weeks and wasn't going to do anything until, well, then my first sergeant said, Staff Sergeant Kaiser, get over here. Remember how he claimed to be a staff sergeant? Yeah. God, this is incredible, these two. I was like, are we going to run out of people to do? What are we going to do? Nope.
You never run out. Trust me.
Oh my God.
There's always an up and coming. Unfortunately, this guy doesn't have a huge social media presence. He's not on, for instance, I couldn't find anything for him on YouTube or anything. And I only found the one Vimeo video. And anyway, well, let me just let this play out, and we're going to be done with that.
The long-term medications I've been on for so many years now, I suffer from chronic migraines. When I have a migraine headache, I am basically...
All right.
Yeah.
So the rest of the video is just poor, pitiful me, PTSD, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was a junkie and took a bunch of drugs, and I OD'd and my kids and all this shit. So, you know,
he blames his drug. He blames his drug stuff. Also,
yeah, well, he said he overdosed on some pills. He tried to end his life, is what he said.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
check out the Fraud at Wrangler chat.
He's got to reach out to the soldier and see if he would like to join my new veteran channel. Can't fucking make it up,
dude.
Can't make it up.
Okay, so just real quick, very, very quickly, because I want you, because you were fucking leg deep in DeWitt. Who is worse? Which is a worse thing? Is it possible to say DeWitt or Wrangler? Because they're both vile. But let's get your take on it, because you were so in deep on the DeWitt stuff.
You know, who is worse? I think Wrangler's worse. I really do. DeWitt and both of them have clammed up. You know, once they were brought out, they just stopped talking about military service.
Yeah.
They weren't getting rid of anything. I mean, DeWitt had SF flags in his office and all kinds of other shit.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Michael Kaiser being the bigger piece of shit.
He seems to be actively, it's because he's actively going at the unprotected. Where DeWitt, I mean, it's really difficult because I mean, DeWitt didn't murder a dude, you know, and so like according to the state of Alabama, didn't fucking murder a dude, and so it really, and that he happens to be a vet, a Marine vet, the guy he got indicted for murdering, a disabled vet who was recently home from surgery. I feel like, and then he commits stolen valor. I mean, to me, that makes Kaiser the worst. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's like out of a movie. It's the fabulous Mr. fucking Kaiser kind of thing, you know. It's
And
crazy.
I'm only basing mine apart from the criminal side of it, because I mean, DeWitt was a fucking convicted felon at like 19.
Yeah.
Never could join the military.
Yeah.
Just solely based on the stolen valor and the bullshit military claims. Even though DeWitt claimed he jumped into Fallujah and his riser popped. He wouldn't know what a fucking riser pop was if it hit him in the face.
If it was up his ass. Fucking popping up. That guy's, but he never claimed the 2 Purple Hearts. You know, like he never went quite that.
No, he didn't. He didn't go that deep. However, that one picture of him wearing the Special Forces uniform with the silver star and that stuff on it, even though he never talked about it, there is photographic evidence that he was wearing it.
I mean, so
in violation
that...
of Florida state stolen valor laws. But I'll do a Kaiser. I digress.
Yeah, no worries. It's me that I didn't mean to sidetrack us too much, but you had mentioned DeWitt, and it just had me thinking, like, you know, the person to ask about this, especially with the stolen valor, is you. So I was curious. I mean, I didn't know if I had recency bias with Kaiser. I mean, DeWitt bothered me, but I mean, I was more like, holy shit with DeWitt. With Kaiser, I'm like, this dude's actively preying on unprotected people, and there's a lot going on with him, you know. Anyway, so sorry, we can get forward. Didn't mean to.
You see this video. Obviously, it keys up a lot of different points in this video. Well, for one instance, he talks about going airborne ranger. He's sitting there wearing a jacked up uniform.
Yeah.
And on that jacked up uniform, I don't know of a single fucking paratrooper that wouldn't have their airborne wings on.
Right.
I got that shit tattooed on my arm, dude.
I don't. It's when I didn't know what that other thing was. Device.
Yeah, that was the expert medic badge.
So at first I was like, is that like a Halo thing? Because
no,
there's no single. I mean, you'd wear your CMB or your CIB and your wings, but you're not putting. It's not a mistake. I mean, a lot of these guys, and when people, you know, a lot of people don't know, but like say they see that and they're like, huh, that's kind of weird. You know, my brother was that, and he, you know, that's kind of weird. And like, oh, well, shit, that's a mistake. You know, and that's like, okay, well, then there's like 10 mistakes on the uniform. I mean, like 10 egregious mistakes going on the uniform. Like if you're gonna wear it, wear it. Like don't be like Peter fuck around with the shit. If you're gonna wear it the way it's supposed to be fucking worn. Have your shit on the right way. You don't put your fucking triple canopy on your right fucking sleeve. That's not a mistake. That's not a mistake. If you're getting filmed doing it, right? Like, oh shit. Like, listen, I was at DLI. We had a group guy, 10th group guy in my class. He had put his club patch. He was wearing his right sleeve, no fucking left. That was, he's like, oh shit. Yeah. You know, I put it easy, fixed it right away. You know, whatever. No big deal. That's a uniform mistake. I was running late and I threw it on the wrong fucking sleeve. It's Velcro. Guess what? Fixed. This dude, you got to almost take him to the PX to get new shit. His uniform's so fucking jacked up, man. And it's like, and he's filming it. These guys, it's almost so comical. It's almost so bad that it's, but the shit, the injuries and all of that's where these guys get bad. And I guarantee he made this video as an application, as a submission to get some kind of fucking benefits out of.
Yeah, most likely. most likely.
That's what it
So-
feels like to me.
So what's the very first thing we do, Josh, after we get their information, date of birth, social, that kind of stuff, what's the very first thing we check?
Skira or SCRA. What is it? What is it? Skira?
Sarah.
Sierra.
Oh,
Sierra.
look. So
Housers.
6 days after graduation from high school, he went in the Army.
In May 2001. Oh boy.
That's kind of a long cry from 1995.
Shit. Does that say 7 years? 2008?
So we've got May 15th, 2001 to, I'll make it big,
Oh yeah, thanks.
February 27th, 2008.
That is 7 years of active duty, and he's coming up with this kind of shit. Wow. Would not have guessed.
Nope.
So already timelines fuck these dudes up. So as you guys are listening to and again, this isn't about like having your radar on, fully fucking open every single time a military guy tells a story. It's like when you come across this, like, that seems weird. I haven't seen somebody wear a uniform like that. Or Kaiser, you're like, that seems weird. Start timelines. Timelines fuck these guys up.
Yep. And the math, the math never works out. And this guy's also a fellow Texan to Kaiser.
God damn.
Figured I'd mention that. Somebody just asked, where's he from? I'm just going to say Texas.
Shit, man.
All right. So I know what his active duty dates are. I have all the information I need. Freedom of Information Act request, boom, in the mail. Off to St. Louis. I always do handwritten, or I don't do handwritten. I type them out, print them out, sign them, and send them in. So that's off, and there'll be a part 2 to this, and I'll definitely get Josh back on here when we do part 2.
Yeah.
But I have more, believe it or not.
Good.
But wait, there's more. Let me see if I want to show this one next. All right, so I go to, and I do just a real quick scrub, and Oompa Loompa shows up in LinkedIn, and I'll make this big. Hopefully you can see it. Well, wait a minute. I could probably, made it too big. So
now
here's some of the shit that he 3 Purple Hearts. He added one.
I mean, fuck it. If you got 2, you might as well have 3.
So now he's got 3. Still got the 2 Bronze Stars, 2 separate incidents while deployed to Iraq. Silver Star with Valor. Hey, fuck not. Absolutely no idea about military awards and decorations.
I mean, somebody at
Silver
that level
Star is a Valor Award, dickhead. You don't put a V on it. Swear to God, I've seen a guy that had the Silver Star ribbon with a V in it, and I almost lost my shit.
God, man. The thing is, I get there are details that maybe, but you would think if you're going to be like, hey, I'm making my identity around these awards, I would want to research the living fuck out of those awards, how they're worn, what it looks like if you get them in tiny metals, like, is there a V, or if there's a bronze star, shit like that. Like, I don't understand why they don't do, like, it's Wikipedia. It's like 10 clicks and you got the fucking knowledge. And then their shit, you see this, and it's like immediately you're just like, well, thread is getting pulled. And once especially with guys like him and Kaiser, when it's so egregious, or DeWitt, once that one thread gets pulled, it immediately falls apart.
So that was the LinkedIn. And then And I got to give kudos to one of my subscribers for sending me some of this stuff and pointing me in the right direction. The next thing I see. What the fuck?
It's a good point, Jerry. I mean, I'm asking why scumbags and liars do scumbaggy liar shit. And there's my answer.
So this thing is a Memorial Day ceremony 2023. Now, this is just as of May 29th, 2023.
So he's...
I will say that, well, I won't say anything just yet. Location, the Lake Travis Performing Arts Center, coming soon. Special guest speaker.
Oh, here we go.
Blair Didion, born and raised Sandusky, Ohio, multi-sport athlete. Really? What sports would those have been? Ping pong and what?
I mean, excelled in football, wrestling, and baseball. I mean, why put anything? If you're this guy, if you have a silver star, never again do you have to mention your high school thing. I mean, you're just.
And here we go again. Upon graduating in high school, 1995, he went in the Army. I find no record of him being in the Army in 1995, 96, 97, 98, 99. He attended basic training at Fort Benning and became a combat medic. Fort Hood for 4 years. He knocked off the half year.
Yeah.
When he reenlisted, special operations candidate. Huh? The fuck is that?
And again, just to play, but and again, for the kind of crowd, like we're seeing, this is like saying to become a special operations candidate is like, it's like saying something's wrong on the uniform. I mean, I had, we've had like a blurb in, like my grandmother's church or whatever. And it something like that or whatever could maybe say something like this and get it wrong. Okay. None of this is right though. Like and it doesn't even sound right. This is all.
The full training took 63 weeks.
Why would you have that in a bio? Also,
63 weeks.
Right. Didn't he already say 3 years?
Well, he broke it down in months before. Now he's breaking it down in weeks.
Oh shit! I was thinking months. Automatically was putting it to months.
No. He broke it down into weeks. So it's
what is that? That's a year and
a year.
52 weeks in a year.
15 months total.
Watching two fucking grunts trying math. I don't understand arithmetic.
Upon completion, he was assigned to the 3rd Special Operations Group at Fort Bragg. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
All right.
Maybe it was so secret scroll that we don't know. Maybe we just didn't have the clearance.
3rd Special Forces Group.
Right.
And they're at Bragg now.
Is there even a SOG? I don't even think I think all that changed. I mean, it's all changed names and everything, but I don't even think, is there even a unit called the SOG?
No, it's Special Forces Group, not Special Operations. Yeah. They're part of the Special Operations Command, but it's 3rd Group.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, because I mean, the thing is too, is with the Army and with special I mean, at this point, it's clear this is all bullshit. If you've been around for a fucking half a minute, you can feel that it's bullshit. But I can say you start getting into special operations stuff, and there is weirdly named shit, and you're like, huh, I'd never heard of that before. And then you find out that they do all this other fucking bananas crap. You're like, oh. But like 3rd SOG, like I'd never heard of it.
And then they start naming shit ODA, and because you've got your ODA stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not going to let too much out of the bag on that because then
no.
they'll be able to use it.
Yeah.
So he spent 7 years at Bragg. Although
Oh,
when I did some of my background stuff, I never saw any addresses associated with him at Bragg.
huh.
It's kind of weird.
Funny how
Deployed
that is.
Deployed to Iraq 3 times, Afghanistan once. During those tours, he was awarded 2 Bronze Stars, a Silver Star with Valor again, 3 Purple Hearts, and is an upcoming
Oh!
Congressional Medal of Honor recipient.
I mean, why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Holy shit.
Upcoming Congressional Medal of Honor recipient.
Oh boy, there is a lot going on with that. A whole lot. First of all, they don't tell you that kind of stuff because they don't want it to be, it's all hush hush when they're right. I mean, when they do the, I don't want to say too much here, but like, no, just no. But go ahead. Because
Evidently, he's been professing that he was going to get the Medal of Honor for quite a while because he had mentioned somewhere that he was supposed to get it in February this year. Of course, that never materialized, nor would it, because who the fuck is going to put him in for it?
Who's put him in for it? They tell you don't talk about it. If you hear MOH guys, there was an SF dude who was a Marine, prior service Marine, when SF. He was on, I forget what, Wally and I were watching it when we were traveling, and he was going through the process, and he's like, yeah, when they do the interviews and they pull you in and all this stuff, they tell you like, hey, don't talk about this because they don't want it out in case something, they don't want, it's the highest honor, period. And it's like, period, that you can fucking get in our country. And so they don't want leaks about it. They don't want to be going through the investigation, because that's what they call it, an investigation, to come to find out that no, we're not going to upgrade this to the MO, because usually it's a silver star, and then they'll look at the upgrade.
Well, yeah, they look at every Silver Star recipient. They look at all of those just to see if there's something that's above and beyond that would elevate it to that. Even as a Silver Star award, a recommendation for a Silver Star or an awards request for a Silver Star, as it goes up, it gets really looked at and scrutinized by a lot of friggin' people before it ever gets. And there's organizations out there. There's databases out there with every Silver Star recipient ever, and open to the public online. Do a search for it, go in there and look for this douche nozzle's fucking name in it, and you won't find it. So I already know the Silver Star thing's bullshit.
So to give you an idea, and to give folks an idea, my cousin Jimmy, who I've talked about I just talked about him earlier on here. He was in Afghanistan. Him and an EOD guy pulled that live RPG out of that Marine's leg. He initially got submitted for a Silver Star for it, and then it got, and that's a pretty heroic thing he did.
Yes.
And so like both him and the EOD guy did. They specifically said, no, we are going out there. We are putting our lives at risk to save this guy. Because if that thing would have gone off, they would have all been fucked. It pretty fucking heroic shit. And he got turned down for the Silver Star for that. Just to give an idea that it's not a threshold that is like an everyday thing. It's high.
See, Stanley, I told you to stand by because you had mentioned the MOH earlier.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, luckily this speaking engagement they chopped him off and he didn't get to speak. Thank God.
Wait, whoa, hold on. He claims his dad. No, he's
that's him.
He's a senior. Oh, okay. I thought he was.
That's him. He's the senior.
Oh, okay. He has.
But he's already. I mean, and this was put out by a Catholic parish, I guess. I don't know. Oh, that's special thanks too. So I don't even know how he how they found him to do the speaking. The part that pisses me off is he's still involved with veteran services in Texas.
Well, here's the one thing I can't say is at least finally somebody's not claiming to be an MP. Like, so finally, nobody ever pretends to be my job. Nobody's like, I was a targeter.
I was an MP and I don't like claiming it.
So he works with veteran services in Texas still.
Yeah. In just 06, 07 in Mosul, we were outside the wire every day, going out to all the IP stations. And guess who was guarding the gates at the FOB? The grunts.
The grunts.
And they fucking hated us.
And those are always the shitbag grunts too. Like, at least when I was 05, 06. So I was there, you know, this like right or not 04, 05. And then the second time in Iraq. Yeah, and it was always these overweight broke dick fobbits, like not guarding the gate, but like at the chow hall and stuff. Like they like show the ID. My terps would get fucking pissed, rightfully so, every time. They let my terp in one time. We came right off a mission, and he's geared up, he's kitted up the same as us, except for he doesn't have the an M4, right? He liked to carry an HK little whatever. You know, I let him have it. Like, all right, it's dorky that you're carrying this little Uzi thing. It's not an Uzi, but you know what I mean. And anyway, whatever. They were like, and he always had my phone in case an Iraqi called, right? So he could fucking talk to him. They wouldn't let him in the chow hall at Victory. They let him in with all the fucking weapons. No problem. They're like, he can't have the phone. I'm like, it's my phone. And they're like, well, we saw him. It was on his person. I'm like, you literally just patted over his 9mm. You patted over, I guess the long rifles we had left, right? So that's all we had was a small, you know, just on the hip or whatever. You patted that down. You pulled out a fucking knife, but it's the phone. And then you just let us all walk in. I'm like, well, I mean, if you shoot up the place, Mac, I don't know who we're going to call because you got our phone fucking hijacked. It's such bullshit.
All right. I got something else to show.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah.
All right. So,
hey, sorry. Take a look at David Bendal's thing because he's mentioned. I don't know what that is.
Mainly because they're not veteran service officers. They are working for nonprofits or something like that, and usually they find out about this, and either they don't give a shit and they let them continue to work there because they do a good job. I'm not saying the guy's can't do a good job at something. I'm just saying he's embellished his military career. All right. Let's talk about his military career.
Okay.
Steve Anson, Guardians of the Green Beret, already digging on this. The guy does have a Purple Heart. The guy does have a combat medic badge.
Wow.
Does have it. Perfectly honorable career. He just shit all over it.
Holy cow.
And I'm going to show you something right now.
Oh my fucking
that
Lord.
Was sent to me by one of my subscribers. Again, thank you. Let's see. How do I do this? We share this one and we bring it up.
Dude, this is a perfect example of why. And I'm glad you got my reaction. You were right, man, to not have any prior knowledge on this because
all right. I can't for some reason. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So this was from 2007. They had a ceremony at Fort Sam for a bunch of people that were stationed there that received Purple Hearts. And let me go back up. We'll look at the date. October 18th, 2007. This is a newsletter from Fort Sam. Purple Heart recipients honored as Heart and Soul of America. And when you go down here and look, what do we see right there? Specialist. He was a specialist.
Wow.
I can't make that bigger. I'm sorry, without fucking up the whole screen. Now maybe I can. Maybe I can fuck up the whole screen. I don't know. Let's see.
No balls. No, that's clear. That's good.
Specialist Blair Didion.
Wow.
So he was honored there.
And this is, and he, okay, so he's still active duty at this time because he got out in 2008. So he's still active duty at this time.
He's still active duty and he's a specialist, not a fucking staff sergeant. There isn't enough time left in his career. They won't even promote him to sergeant because he doesn't have enough remaining time in service to meet the obligation for sergeant. So,
but how does it, but also 7 years as a specialist?
Hey, turd in the punch bowl.
Yeah. God, man.
He was in HHC.
Yep.
Well, we didn't get there yet. Wait a minute. We got to go to, this is continued on page 7, where they talk about how each individual received their award. Oh boy. 5. And Purple Hearts from page 3. And let's look down. Specialist Blair Didion.
There you go.
Right here.
7th Armored Cav. Oh, fuck. I was there. I was fucking there at that time.
He was a combat medic assigned to headquarters and headquarters troop 1st Battalion, 7th Armored Cav. That's out of Hood. He was injured January 10th in 2005 in Iraq while on maneuvers in a Bradley fighting vehicle. His vehicle was hit by an IED and he received lacerations and bruises to his left shoulder. It's a far fucking cry from a fractured back requiring 2 rods and screws.
Also, that feels, yeah, but you know, it's not.
So, as you can see, these guys, their shit falls apart really quick.
So wait a second, though. Hold on a second. It must have been, was injured. Okay, so in the time, what you have highlighted was injured January 10th, 2005 in Iraq. Okay. Oh, specialist. Okay, sorry, went to a different dude. Sorry, started looking at that specialist Ryan Jaycock thing, and I'm like, wait a second. Holy shit. I was in Iraq at that time. That's fucking nuts.
Crazy, huh? So it's amazing what you can find out there.
God damn.
That doesn't collaborate any of the shit that he's been talking. It's insane. It's insane.
And so right now the paperwork is into St. Louis, you're saying, right?
Yep. And the only way I verified this was from Steve.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not stepping on Steve's toes at all. I know he's got something in the works. He's actually going to be doing a phone call to this guy to talk to him because he's like, "Hey, motherfucker."
I like Steve, when he does those phone calls. Yeah, me and Don. I like the phone calls.
Yep. Well, I can't really do them from here because Massachusetts is a one-party state. Mm-hmm. So I have to notify anybody I'm calling that I am. He's in North Carolina, or a two-party state. I mean, we're a two-party state. North Carolina is a one-party state. One-party state, you can record all day long because you know you're recording. Two-party state, both parties have to know.
This is insane. So This is why it's easy to get over your skis. I think like I mean
Yeah.
I would have. There's no fucking way, and I don't think there would have been anybody in the chat. They'd be lying if they would say like that he does have a CMB and a fucking Purple Heart. How fucking
Josh, I'm gonna
nuts.
let you keep yakking for a minute.
All right. I should bring my water out. So if anybody was interested, I just had a yerba mate organic tea. I know that's what you tune into to this for. It was actually pretty good, but it's a little bit I feel like I need a water to go with it. What else is going on? I don't have let me see if I can answer any of these. Yeah, Jinmar. To go back, I mean, this is what's nuts about the. I mean, first of all, this guy is crazy. I mean, this is full delusional. No, I'm on Ops. I'm not gonna do it on his channel. But that's how delusional this motherfucker is. His shit is the combat medic badge and the combat expert badge, the expert medic badge. Sorry, like all of that, I never would have fucking guessed. Holy crap, he was not a hero, but he did and got fucking hurt serving, and then just ruined the fuck out of all of that. That is fucking crazy.
And you know, and I'm not going to bring my camera back up because I'm in the process of doing my eye drop thing since I had surgery the other day.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I saw that in the chat.
I got to do my eye drops. But
Ron Douglas says he was a National Guardsman attached to that unit. That's why he had 7 years. No, is that? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I see it. It's hard. I don't have any control over it, but is that what you're talking about, Ron? The National Guardsman? I have no.
And that could very well be, because when you check the Defense Manpower Database, well, actually, if he was attached to an active duty unit, he would be on active duty. So we still have that 95 to 2001 time frame he was talking about, where who knows? He could have been in the National Guard somewhere. I don't know, because National Guard time doesn't show up in the database.
And why pick 95, right? Like, what? It's a weird year to just sort of pick. If it's like, if for no other reason, that's interesting, Ron. That does bring up a new. Sorry, is that siren too much? They're arresting Wranglers. Oh,
Dick necks. They're chasing dick necks.
Yeah. It's really funny, actually. Through all of this, it's made me realize how many friends I have that are cops or former cops, or it's so funny. I really hadn't noticed it before. But anyway, sorry, that made me lose my train of thought with it. But that National Guard thing, it's the same. Why hold on to that lie? Right? Because what is that protecting, that 95? Same way as Wrangler. What is that 40%? What is that VA rating? Well, we know what
the 95,
we know what it's protecting.
Based on his date of birth, 95 would have been appropriate for him to graduate high school.
Yeah.
And maybe he was just a dud from 95 to 2001. I don't know. And like I said, National Guard time doesn't show up. It will show up NPRC. When they send back the records, if they do a thorough scrub and send me back everything I requested, I'll know if he had any National Guard time.
So here's why I also like Ron's. Ron, I don't know how official whatever you got. Here's how I like this theory that Ron's presenting too. That would also kind of make sense for that. He's still a specialist after that long. Because with National Guard units, you got to for people who don't know, there's got to be a slot for you to get promoted into. Like, that's why National Guard guys, you can see like a fucking 80-year-old fucking sergeant and shit. I mean, that's obviously an exaggeration, but like, so that could explain why he's.
Another note, on another note too, in the National Guard, you'll see guys that make command sergeant major that would have never made it past E7 in the active duty.
Yeah.
They just did their time and they got the slots and they bumped up.
Yeah. I've seen E5 retired after 20 years. Yeah. Ron, I like this theory. I mean, it's a theory, you know, and one of the things that's kind of come up with my channel too is what I sort of decided is a lot of, I feel like kind of what we're all showing, me and Wally and Master, like our side specifically, excluding the criminal stuff, but with the Stolen Valor, is you're kind of seeing how the sausage is made. And so there can be a little bit of wrong guesses. But that's what I'm for, right? I'm the one who can get out there and run with a little bit of a
yeah, and there always seems to be a criminal background too. Now, this guy also has a criminal background, no felonies, but it seems like he used to like to write a lot of checks for money he never had. So he got charged on a few of those.
Oh, wow. I was just going to say, by the way, just to finish, Stanley says that I'm jealous of Krusty rank. Listen, my buddy, when I very first met him, he was a Lance Corporal. I had just been selected for that officer program. I was corporal, about to be sergeant, and he's a full bird now at the Pentagon, and I never got above staff sergeant. And he used to fucking joke. He was like, "Dude, you're the senior staff sergeant in NATO." Because I'd been a staff sergeant for so fucking long. Because in the reserves and with as a human or 19th group, there's no slot, so you just stay. And to me, it didn't matter. I was a 13. I mean, it wasn't. I got selected for 7 in the reserves, but this was right when I finished DLI, and I had a job I was looking at SOCOM that I was in the process of getting, whatever, or going through or whatever. And so I was like, fuck, I don't need E7 if I'm gonna fucking because they're like, you got to re-enlist for 2 years. Sorry, my enlistment was up. They're like, you got to re-enlist for 2 years for us to promote you to 7. I got selected for it, did the board and everything like that, and because you know what they call a staff sergeant P, staff sergeant. But
yeah,
and so I got the promotable or whatever the fuck. I passed the board, but then they're like, hey, you got to re-enlist, and like Tampa is like, and I was like, ah. And so then I got out of the reserves too, but then and then I was never going to get promoted again after that. But anyway, okay, sorry. But give people an idea, and maybe that really is kind of where that specialist. And what's fun to look at this, and for you guys to kind of go through it, and as much as you can without giving shit away to people or to show your hand too early. I think it's actually really valuable that we do this. It's like you guys can kind of see. Also, it's just enjoyable. Kind of watch us go through the process. Watch us kind of do our thing. You're watching the Wrangler thing. Did you hear about all that shit that Wally, that AI crap that Wally's looking at and all that stuff? Like, holy fuck. Basically being able to do a fucking Control F with video and audio through AI stuff. It's all.
Yeah, Wally's he's a fat dork.
He is a fat dork, if there was one, with a Barrett fucking Sasser sniper rifle. And
holy shit, I watch his videos and stuff, and he starts whacking out all of the data, and I'm like, I learned so much about what you guys did and how we used to get our target packets.
Yeah.
So we'd get a target packet, and for instance, we'd have to do our op order on it. But of course, we used to make fun of Army intelligence, or unintelligence is what we used to call it a lot. Sometimes it would pan out, sometimes it wouldn't. But for the most part, it wasn't on a fault on their side. It was because there was so much time that lapsed by the time we got the information, and by the time, our higher ups made us do this, this, and this. And then by the time you finally get out there, this fucking guy's screwed already. So,
and back then too, they had a really low threshold for targets, and which, thank God, it started getting tighter. And they would throw a lot of information, man. When I was there when I was in Iraq, by the time I got to Afghanistan, they had a whole legal vetting system for if the target got on what they called the JPEL, Joint Priority Execution List, or some shit like that. Not execution like schwack them, but like whatever. And you had to go through all the legal stuff. Wally and I had talked about, but Iraq, there was a time when it would be the two chief who would sign off on going to puck, place under confinement or whatever, containment or whatever it was, puck, we called it back then, before you do a hit on a guy. I mean, it was pretty loose. And then they'd come back with like, a lot of times the grunts would come back with like 5 dudes when it should have been 1. And it's like, well, all these guys were, whatever. And it's like, fuck. Because what ends up happening and again, it's not their fault. It's just the way the cycle was. But if you don't have the precise target, you start getting up too many guys. You start pissing people off. Also, all you're doing is rotating these dudes through I forget the biff and diff. I forget what they called, whatever that was for the facility. That basically where they held the guys, hold them there for like a month, and then fucking have to release them. And like all they're doing is being able to pass shit, learn how we do shit. But yeah, that the targeting packets were hard, man. And I did humid. I didn't do, but the other thing they would stop doing is nobody would move on a human target, human intelligence target, a source. Nobody would move on a source alone. You'd need SIGINT. You need like, okay, we need two confirms on SIGINT. And then they would fucking drop on a phone. Like, we're not 100% the dude's there. We're fucking 80% the dude's there. His phone is there. Like, good shot, good kill. Fuck it. The device is fucking dead. But yeah, that Wally's stuff. I worked with him. We worked together when we were both Afghanistan. Then when we were both Africa, and he was with a different agency, we worked together just on a different kind of angle. And having that data, it's good to have a Wally. It's good to have somebody like that likes sifting through that data. But it's really easy to gloss over if you're not kind of familiar with it. It can be a lot, and that's what I try and tell them. Like, okay, I can speak Wally, so let me kind of, what does this mean for everybody else who's watching? Because otherwise, it just looks like somewhat of an overwhelming amount of data.
Yeah, and it used to be overwhelming with some of the packages we'd get, and then would have to devise our op order, how we were going to go in, how we were going to attack it, what assets we needed. For the most part, the SF guys that were in Mosul when I was there, their hands were tied on a lot of stuff. They weren't even allowed to go out and conduct missions unless they took Iraqi police with them. So the Iraqi police could lead the way in, and we would have to go with them with the Iraqi police. So there was a lot of moving parts. And if you look on my channel, I've got this is long before GoPros. I had a little cigarette camera and a Sony camera. And you can see exactly how great the Iraqi police work. They're kicking this door like it's a hollow fucking door. And he kicks it like 3 times. The door opens, then it swings shut. Now we're going in to grab somebody.
Yeah.
And it's just a complete and utter shit show from what you can see. And they all go in and they all go straight to the back of the house. Go right by the stairs. Me and one of the SF kids had to go up and clear the second floor. It was just ridiculous. And it's shitty video, shitty audio. But hey, I got a little bit of something anyway.
No, that's awesome. I keep forgetting to go look at it. Hey, to answer Jay, no, Nance was Navy intel. Nance is 100% full of shit. Not 100% full of shit. He was a Navy crypto guy. He wasn't an analyst or anything. He was a Navy crypto guy. He got his combat action ribbon, which Navy guys can get. It's the Navy Marine combat action ribbon. Like I have one. Not to brag, but no, I do. But he got his car, is what we call it. He got his combat action ribbon when he was on ship as a crypto dude when they fired the rockets at Libya. back in whatever the 90s or whatever that was. He claims to have been driving into Arlington when 9/11 happened. Nance did. He was a seer instructor. He was an instructor at the Survive, Evade, Resist, or Resist, Escape. Right, for everybody who doesn't know, seer school. It teach you how to be a POW shit. He did do that in some capacity. He claims at the Spy Museum. I worked at the Spy Museum. I walked through. They love him there. I'm like, oh my God. I'm looking at the stuff he's saying. I'm like, hey, you can't have, dude, the Spy Museum. I fucking love it. It's very cool. They have a lot of problem with fake shit. There's this one dude. They have a very prominent fucking exhibit right when you very first walk in. It's this dude Morton Storm. His story is about as true as this Didion dude's story. You're like, okay, you were run as a source, but everything he said about how he was run as a source, from everything from how he got paid to the fucking tradecraft that he blew up, he got pissed because the CIA said he fucking audio taped. He recorded his last meet where his handler was cutting him off. Where his handler was terminating their fucking relationship, the termination meeting. And he was pissed because he thought he should have got the $5 million bounty on the dude. I can't remember his name. We killed him in Yemen. Obama killed him in Yemen. The Amriki guy. I forget his name. Anyway, big terrorist guy. This dude is so full of shit. I read his book because I was like, oh, I didn't know this guy's story. Cool. It's my era. I'm fucking very familiar with source operations and counterterrorism. I read his book. I went to the staff and I was like, hey man, we got a problem here. You got Malcolm Nance running his fucking suck about shit he has no fucking experience with. This dude Nance claims they have his ghillie suit. This dude, he got out of the Navy in like 99. In 2000, he was not even in the military when 9/11 happened. He was a contractor. Then he sold a very close friend, Scriven.
Wait a minute. A fucking Navy guy with a ghillie. Was he a SEAL?
Nope. Wait till you get this.
With a ghillie suit.
Hear me out. So you remember Scriven, right? My buddy
trying to hide from having to paint the anchors or what?
So, I can't wait to do K-Farb. Speaking of which, he mentioned scraping paint off a ship, but no. So Scriven, my buddy Scriven, who I had on when we were doing bacon and all that stuff, right? He was the MP in the Air Force or Security Forces, whatever. He's good friends with Malcolm. I started talking to him about Malcolm and like buddies with him. And he's like, oh shit. He's like, I've always felt like he was kind of an exaggerator. I'm like, I didn't know how big of an exaggerator he was and complete fabricator until I saw I'm like, why do we have Malcolm Nance, a contract intel guy, has a ghillie suit? We have him on video. I say we. The museum had him on video saying, when 9/11 happened, we could be deployed at any time. He was an intel contract. He sold himself as an intel analyst. He wrote a really good, fucking pretty much the definitive book on the terrorist cells and all the breakdown of the Sunni insurgency in Iraq. It was like kind of the Bible of, okay, I need to know about this. I never heard of this group. See what they're doing. It was great. And then he built a whole career on bullshit. He said he had the ghillie suit. Oh my gosh, I got to find this video of him. I mean, the problem is that it's all proprietary, but he claimed that they were doing hits in Afghanistan. Again, check it out, guys. The third exaggerator / faker who's claimed battle at Tora Bora. Literally the third motherfucker who's claimed battle at Tora Bora. It's insane. I don't know what these dudes, I don't know what that holds for them or whatever, but why they all claim it. But he's a third one. He said he was doing Overwatch on a target in Pakistan for that. Like, bro, if you're a contract intelligence guy, you're an analyst, you're attached to the headquarters. And then I went back through his resume with Scriven, and I was like, lie. This is like, not he was at everywhere he says he was at. But the problem is, it doesn't add up to what his stories say. So Malcolm Nance is full of shit.
And yeah, Ron, he was. Somebody asked if you were MI.
Yeah, I was 35 Mike. I was a human collector. I was so my for anybody who doesn't know, was 10 years active duty in the Marines. It was 5 years in the reserves, activated for like 3 and some change of that, and then 2 years in the 3 years in the fucking National Guard. And then I didn't do anything with the National Guard. I was in that was when I was a humaner though. But I was a human targeting officer as a GG-13. The thing that makes me knowledgeable about this is mostly I was an Army civilian. I'm a retired Army civilian. I was a GG-13 intel officer, whatever, but I was a trained human targeting officer. You have to go through, I think it's like 8 weeks, 8-10 weeks. They break it up. You have to do this thing, but then you get Dominis Obis, the intel community, because it's all built. CIA does the same targeting school. You all do the same shit because what they wanted DIA and DOD to look like at that level, at the national level, to function the same way as CIA did, the NCS and DCS, the National Clandestine Service and Defense Clandestine Service. They wanted to mimic each other so they could, copy pasta and fucking plug and chug with people. So it's like people were getting to the same school certified. I never went to the farm or anything like that. But so yeah, I worked in human my last 10 years. And then it's with Govey. And then sorry. I was a PSYOP guy when I was in the reserves. To let you know. So I worked even then. It wasn't human because we weren't running sources in the same way. You're not putting in tradecraft in the same exact way because you have a different purpose, but you function in the same manner. I just dealt with information and plugging and chugging with them. And then a big part of what I did is I kind of mentioned it last night, but I would go a lot of places that other dudes necessarily wouldn't go. I'm not saying it was like super brave or anything. It's just a lot of people don't want to go live in a fucking village and shit in a fucking wag bag and have to pull fucking water out just to find a bad guy. But I really fucking love the job. And I really like fucking being around fucking highly capable people, and make no mistake, I don't care if it's MARSOC, SF, SEALs, PJs. At that level, those dudes are professional and capable as fuck. And it was great being around operators. Man, everybody was fucking mission focused. Nobody could stay married. Everybody had a drinking problem in their home. But it was the best. And I did it all for 25 years. So anyway, yeah.
All right. So these lights are killing my eyes.
Yeah.
I got my lighting set up. I had eye surgery 2 days ago, and drops. Everything's good. I can see. My vision is no longer blurry. So that bump on the head I took back in February, that
from the bike,
that lens all kind of out of control, and now I have a bionic lens, which is kind of cool.
Man, I can't wait to dig into more. We'll talk offline. And again, I think, yeah, we'll do you. I definitely want to be. I like this. This is good.
Yeah, and like I said, we're going to do a part 2 once I get the request back. Might take a couple weeks. I'll have some other content in between that. And by all means, if you guys come up with something that doesn't smell right, shoot me an email. It's in my about. And if it's worth a look, I'll take a look. And that's how this one happened. One of my subs sent me some stuff, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take a look. And then I got the gears turning, and I said, you know who I want to get on here and show him this video and watch his fucking head explode? It's this guy.
There's one of the things that's unique with my situation is I was never the coolest guy in any of the field, but I've touched the intel side, tactical side, I've touched the national level. I've had my assessments get into 2 different presidential daily briefs. I've touched the national level. I've touched SOCOM. I've touched SOF. I've touched ODAs, MSOTs, right? So like, I know conventional Marines. I was an embassy guard. So like when people start lying about shit, especially, specifically our era, my era, pretty much 90s to now, they don't know that. Oh, well, okay, in 4 different ways I can see you're full of shit. SF special operators course, shit like that. But did I go through Robin Sage in my 18 series? Absolutely fucking not. But I know they call it Robin Sage. I know they call it's 3 phases of that thing. I know that. So when these guys start lying, what they don't, it's like Kaiser. Kaiser saw me and was like, well, I don't have to answer to you. Well, that's fine, but you don't know who I know, and you don't know what I know. And I know a lot. And if I don't know it, I know a top. I know a Wally. I know a Shiz. I know a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like, so
And Wrangler's shit was so easy to get. It was amazing. That's probably one of the quickest turnarounds I've ever had on records.
They were like, fuck this shit back.
Thumbs up. You guys were awesome. Sent me more shit than I even asked for. So that's and by no means did they send me. I mean, I got one packet from a North Carolina guy that had, I was 10, 20 minutes in front of the shredder. But they sent me his DD-214 from the reserve as well as his NGB 22 discharge, which mimics whatever he got for a DD-214 when he got the boot the second time. So, and I just sent out a third request for that time period on him. So I don't know.
This is not a new, meaning we're not off of him.
No, not by any stretch. No. It's just as targets pop up, I figured I'd give you guys an inside look as to how I go about it and what I do as I move forward. And, I'm still not calling this guy out, even though there's more than enough to do it. But come round 2, when I get the records back, then I will definitely be really eyeballing everything that he said and done. Even though we already know he doesn't have a Silver Star, I'm only seeing the one Purple Heart from 2005. So there's that whole block of time where he's claiming from 95 to 2001, first boots on the ground, all that bullshit. But anyway, my eyes are getting itchy. I'm going to jump out of here.
Just real.
Guys,
can I say just 2 seconds? Just about Nance. Part of the thing with Nance too is Nance claims Africa. I worked Africa. I worked Libya through the Western Sahel. He worked the same thing. So just in case, I don't know. There's a lot more people that watch your shit than mine. But that's how I know Nance. I just wanted to say, like, I'm not guessing about this shit. He talks about the exact areas that I worked. So anyway.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And keep watching Stone Vet. He does a lot of great stream snipes. Stone Vet. Make sure you go over there, show him some love. And as always, have yourself a great day. And with that, we're going to sign off.